Oh my god, I fucking hate the Gareth Edwards 2014 movie Godzilla so much. So let's begin. In 2011, Legendary Pictures announced that Gareth Edwards, director of the small science fiction movie Monsters, would be directing a brand new Godzilla movie to be released on May 16th, 2014. And that's my birthday, so that's like the best present ever, right? No. On that day, I went to the cinema with some friends to enjoy what I assumed would be an entertaining blockbuster monster movie. One of my friends even obtained a poster from the cinema bathroom for me. I was ready. 2 hours later. No, I wasn't. This film is But the most frustrating thing is that with some small changes, it could be really good. I don't know if budgetary reasons or artistic choices were behind this, and with the recent rumors of extensive reshoots on Gareth Edwards' new film Rogue One. By the way, check out my Star Wars retrospective if you're into that shit. Maybe Edwards is just another Josh Trank, except I actually remember some good stuff from Chronicle. I mean, what happened in Monsters? There was a wall, I think. So we begin with Bryan Cranston himself watching his wife brutally die in front of him because of his own inability to stop natural events that are far beyond his control. Okay, so that's good. Character motivation and setup of the movie's main themes are already out the way. Maybe this is good after all. Maybe I was too hard on it. So we then fast forward 15 years and see that Cranston's son, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, has tried to move on from his mother's death and is now living in the US with his wife / not his sister. But he's called back into Japan because crazy Bryan Cranston is trying to get back into the radiation zone where his wife died, to prove that he was right all along about the radiation. You see, right now it seems like the movie is setting up a pretty good double act between Cranston and the Quicksilver, with Cranston's regret over his wife and obvious instability giving him an understandable reason to go up against a giant monster, while having Kick-Ass in the movie to maybe balance out the crazy and do some cool action scenes. I mean, I only came into this movie expecting an entertaining blockbuster, so if you have some characters with some depth and giving them interesting personalities that play off each other, I mean, it could result in some interesting dramatic tension and some great moments. But that doesn't happen because Bryan Cranston's character is killed off 30 minutes into the movie and Taylor Johnson just doesn't have enough charisma or a well enough written protagonist to hold the movie together. See, without Cranston's motivation, there's no real driving force pitting our main character against the forces of nature. Johnson has no real reason to get involved in these events other than a vague need to get back to his family. And as such, he spends most of the movie just being driven or pushed around from one place to another. His character doesn't learn anything or gain anything, and he doesn't grow at all. He's just sort of around. Hell, his wife has more of a reason to care than him. She spends most of her scenes struggling between the worry of losing a family member, protecting her son, and at the same time fulfilling her job as a doctor. She has to stay calm in a crisis and keep moving, otherwise people will die and it'll be her fault. It sort of shares a little symmetry with Cranston's arc. Maybe she should have been the main character. But I guess you can't throw a doctor out of a helicopter or have her be caught up in a tsunami. So why then did they not write at least some character or motivation into Johnson's character? I've seen this movie countless times trying to get some sort of enjoyment out of it, but this guy is such a black hole of personality that I just get bored and switch off. We know Johnson isn't a bad actor. I saw Kick-Ass. It was okay. Give him some jokes or some cool one-liners or something. Look, I get that you wanted to make a realistic monster movie where the characters are average people, and people die when they're stepped on by monsters, and people aren't super cool, super badass super soldiers. They're just bomb diffusers sometimes. And sometimes children and animals get caught up in the destruction. And there is destruction, but in real life, people have personality, and struggles, and hopes, and fears, and they make jokes, or they have traits that define them as human beings. This guy's just so boring, he makes me want to die. But hey, I'm this many minutes into the video, and I haven't spoken about Godzilla yet. Well, welcome to the whole movie. The film teases you with Godzilla, it makes you wait. Ever since Jaws, we gotta wait for that monster reveal. Keep him in the shadows until the tension is just right, and then blammo! Give them what they came for. Lizards. He spit out his mouth. The movie does half of that idea. He's in the shadows, alright? It's so fucking dark and smoggy I have to turn my projector's brightness up. The movie does a cool bait and switch with the audience, making you think that you're building up to Godzilla before pulling the rug from beneath you and revealing a completely different monster. The Muto. And it worked. The people I saw the movie with didn't know about it, and it sparked their attention. And that's cool. Godzilla fights monsters all the time. It's great. I'm fine with that. Even though the name comes from the stupidest line ever in the movie. Muto. massive unidentified terrestrial organism. It is, however, no longer terrestrial. It is airborne. Then surely it's a Moo-Wow. I think you just picked that name because it sounds like mutant, so that the audience will get that it's a big monster. And, you know, for little kids, you gotta have this stuff in a movie going for the reals feels. Okay, so we get some time with the Mutos, and the ground is set for an amazing battle between beasts. Godzilla rises from the ocean in what is actually an incredible sequence, showing off like the power and size of the monster. And then, after a great tension-filled reveal, we hear the amazing newly remastered roar of Godzilla. And then... nothing happens. We cut away and are told what happens by a TV. By the fucking news. If I wanted to watch the news, I'd watch Fox News. You fucked up, movie. You had one job. I don't know if this happened because of artistic choices or budget issues. But if it was because of the money, like, you know, we can only have so many shots with the CGI Godzilla in them. I don't know, it's just strange. I mean, it's the title of the movie. It's the point. Godzilla is the reason we saw the movie. So it seems logical that we'd want to see him. And this problem extends through the whole film after this point. The cinematography is just so dark and gloomy and smoggy that we don't really get many good chances to see him. And I get the point. They're doing a Jurassic Park. In Jurassic Park, you almost only see the dinosaurs from the human's point of view. It gives them scale. Great. But in that movie, every experience with the dinosaurs felt exciting because, well, we could see the fucking dinosaurs. It was a big deal, and they did a great job on the effects and the practical effects and the CGI, and they let the dinosaurs take center stage, and that's, you know, that's why Jurassic Park is a great movie. But in this, instead of taking center stage, Godzilla's more like a shadow on the curtain at the back of the stage, wandering about, you know, just out of view. Which, again, wouldn't be that much of a problem if the movie wasn't called fucking Godzilla, or if we had any interesting characters about when he's not on screen. But the film goes on. Some shit happens with a train and the Mutos, and then Godzilla and the Mutos are gonna fight in a heavily populated area, and Ken Watanabe is just like, "The arrogance of man is assuming that nature is in its control. Fuck it, let them fight." It's a good line for the trailer, I guess. So we get down to the final battle. Godzilla versus the Muto Bros. But oh no! Giant monsters destroying a city full of people isn't interesting enough. There has to be a nuclear bomb. And no people, I think. And EMPs. And what is even going on? Again, it's the final battle. Why are you still hiding Godzilla? Is he shy? I paid my €7. Now let me see his face. And it's just a load of empty buildings being smashed, and I can't see what's going on. And then Godzilla falls down, and he looks Taylor Johnson in the eyes, and he's like, "I failed." So then, the coolest thing ever does actually finally happen. One by one, we see blue lights appear in the darkness. The awesome soundtrack begins to build up. Oh yeah, by the way, this film has a great soundtrack. It's one of the small good things to come out of this garbage. And then... blows his head off, and then he grabs the other motor by the face and goes... boom! And blows his friggin' head off. And then a mosasaur jumps out of the water and eats the... oh, sorry, that was a better movie. Okay, so we got one cool bit. Great. Let's GIF it, upload it to r/Godzilla, and then move on with our lives. The movie ends with Godzilla jumping back into the ocean and sailing off to fight King Kong in a movie another day. And at this point, I've already fallen asleep, never to awaken. All the promotional material for this movie was like, we're going back to basics, and we're basing this off the original Godzilla that you love. So I went back and I watched some classic Godzilla movies, you know, to see if they were shit too. And they're really good. The original Godzilla is a poetic nightmare created by a team obviously struggling with the dark themes of nuclear war. The scene where the mother holds her children close to her and tells them that they'll soon join their father is heartbreaking. And the scene where the doctor checks out the little kid's radiation count, oh my god! And then on the flip side, you get movies like Godzilla Raids Again, which is a very over-the-top, almost comedy in comparison. But both of these movies, in my eyes, are great, because You know, one of them has a chilling subject matter and it's done really well, and the other one's really just fun entertainment. But this movie doesn't have either. It chickens out of going too deep with the dark stuff after the first act, but then it takes itself too seriously to have fun with the idea of giant monsters beating each other up. The movie does have pros, like the first act and the soundtrack and some of the visuals where you can actually see what's happening. But the pacing and the overall plot and the characters are just so bad, it's just hard to watch. I really wanted to like this movie. You know? I got the poster, I got the soundtrack, I even got it on DVD, I can't watch it. Hopefully Edwards has more luck in his Star Wars movie and the Godzilla franchise just moves on well without him. I'm looking forward to Skull Island, as I'm also a big fan of King Kong, and away from the legendary monster universe, we have Japan with their new Godzilla film, which appears to be following the devastating force of nature route much closer. I don't know what will happen, but this film for me will always be a disappointment. But what do you think? Maybe you thought it was great. Maybe you agree with me. Maybe you think I'm retarded and obnoxious. Either way, comment or send me a message to wherever, I don't know, find me, and let me know. And I'll see you next time. Watch out for meows! Hey, thanks for watching my Godzilla review. As you can see, I don't really like the movie, but I like talking about it. There was a lot of stuff I couldn't fit into this video, just to keep it like concise and not be a half-hour rant about Godzilla. So maybe I'll go into it again sometime in the future. Who knows? If you click here, you can see my Star Wars video. And hey, if you are a subscribe, then that's great. Then you'll see new videos from me in the future. There will be another video soon. I don't know what the topic will be. This channel, it's just gonna be whenever I want. But there you go. It's more videos coming soon. Click it. Click it now. Everyone likes Star Wars. Why don't you? What are you, some sort of freak?